Kane to Toews returns. This is a big one. Kane to Toews returns as the Hawks win 6-3 over the Ottawa Senators. Hawks coming off a 4-3 loss to the Boston Bruins where they failed to pick up a point even though they were 20 seconds away from doing so. Before that, they come off an 8-3 victory over the Anaheim Ducks. And now, on the road against Ottawa, that's was the team they picked up their first win of the season on all the way back at the start of November. It was the only time Jeremy Colleton won as a head coach this year. And now we're in Ottawa, trying to make it 2-0 against the Senators this year. Well, it didn't start well because Connor Brown and Thomas Chabot would both score in the first period for the Senators. Kind of soft goals. Connor Brown scored a short-handed goal. And, yeah, Fleury did not play well in the first period. And that short-handed goal came on a major penalty. The Hawks still had like 4.5 minutes to go on a power play. And because they were down, they did not score in the first period. They did not score on this 5-minute major. That's not... And you let up a short-handed goal. Not a good first period for the team, but they would rebound in the second. In the first minute of the second period, we see some awful puck movement by the Senators. No one can grab the puck. There's like 3 guys there, and they can't pick it up. And Toews is there to just pass it over to Patrick Kane, who's alone, by the way, and he stands there for probably a good 2 seconds, waiting to find something. And he finds Jonathan Toews, who puts it in the back of the net. It's 1-2. Hawks are on the board. Kane to Toews. Oh, man, that's glad to see that connection back. And literally just a few minutes later, the Hawks are now on the power play, and Patrick Kane moves in the zone. And then this time he doesn't just kind of stand there. He pivots, and he's looking for a lane. Hasdock decides not to go as he's well covered. Goes in between defenders and finds Jonathan Toews moving in, who takes the puck and the momentum, shoots, and scores for a second of the game to tie the game. 2-2. Kane to Toews for the second time in 3 minutes. And man, honestly, it feels like this felt like a nostalgia trip almost. Kane to Toews. Man, good to see those two connecting on some big plays. In this one, man, that was really nice to see. And see, I think the reason why they have had lack of production as a duo, as opposed to the prime years, as I believe, is because they're not really on the same line anymore, and they don't get a lot of time on the ice together. And I think that this was just a nice little moment the two had. Is who knows, that may be one of the last times we see that connection. It all depends on how long both of them stay. Kane looks like he's got some years left. Toews looks like his career's coming to an end here in the next year or two, which is the end of an era. It really is the end of an era for Chicago when Toews will retire and when Kane will retire. I mean, they're really the last 2 pieces from the dynasty years that are still with us. And once those 2 are officially gone, it's going to be everything's going to be different. We're going to be moving on to the era of DeBrincat, Hagel, Kubalik, Doc. Hopefully they're all still here by the time that fateful day comes. And then with about 11 minutes to go in the second period, Hagel kicks it back out to Seth Jones in the Senators zone. Seth Jones would pass to a player who just so happens to be his brother in Caleb Jones. Caleb Jones would then go on to shoot the puck and ping off the post and in. So Seth Jones is going to get an assist for a goal. His brother Caleb Jones scores. The connection between the Jones brothers. Oh, that actually Also, again, that's honestly just a nice heartfelt moment the two can share together. A brother duo that was able to connect. Playing on the same team is one thing, but connecting to score a goal. You're passing to your brother who then just shoots and scores a goal in the NHL. That's special. That is special right there. And I don't think Caleb Jones has really been that bad this year. I mean, he hasn't had as much playing time. I don't think he's been terrible this year. A lot of the glaring issues on the defense is not really coming from him. I'm seeing him. He's at least playing decent, but I'm not really seeing any of the major issues coming from Seth Jones. Correction, I meant Caleb Jones on that last statement, but Caleb Jones actually doesn't do fantastic. I say he hasn't been that bad. I think this is the first time he's had a really bad, not necessarily a really bad blunder, but he's not the main reason why this chance happened for Nick Paul, the Senators. Couple bad misses from Hawks players led to a breakaway for Nick Paul, and Caleb Jones has to come back and try to stop him. Paul makes a nice move around him and shoots it past Fleury to get the Senators within one. And Caleb Jones isn't necessarily the guy to blame here. But yeah, he could have done better on that. It's just the fact that they let up the breakaway in the first place where they really shouldn't have. And this is Jake McCabe just missing the puck entirely, trying to come back and just diving and missing the puck, leading to this breakaway for Paul. And Jake McCabe has been someone I've been kind of harsh on this year as well. But, I mean, then again, it's a bit warranted. There have been many mistakes that have led to goals that have been part of the reason that have been partly Jake McCabe's fault. So that goal was scored with about 4:20 to go in the second period. I kid you not, literally off the face-off. It's picked up by Sam Lafferty, who then carries it in, walks into the slot, fires a simple wrister, and he scores! And Sam Lafferty, right after, literally, not even 10 seconds after the Senators tie the game at 3, the Hawks get the lead right back. Sam Lafferty was the third of the year. Oh my God. That was bad. That was bad defense, I'll tell you that much. There are times where I think our defense is really bad. When we play some teams like the Senators like this, oh man, that's bad. That is bad. And so the Hawks would lead in the second intermission 4-3. Let's move on to the third period. And about halfway gone through the third period, Jake McCabe has a drive that just doesn't work out. He's in the corner, kicks it out, and it's Kirby Dach who now has it behind the Senators' net. And he fires a pass. He's got options. He's got Toews open, but he doesn't decide to go to Toews. He has a better option. He passes back to Caleb Jones, who fires a one-timer that finds the back of the net. Caleb Jones has a multi-goal game. I believe that's the first of his career. I don't know. Don't count me on that, but I'm going to act like it is. And Caleb Jones has goals number 3 and 4 on the year. I like that. This is just great. Seth Jones gets to pass to his brother who scores a goal, and then he scores again in the same game from Kirby Dach here to give the Hawks a 2-goal lead. And then 1 minute later, it's Patrick Kane who hangs on to the puck, passes it back to Seth Jones with about 10 minutes to go in the game. And Seth Jones from the point waits, fires, it's tipped by Strome and finds the back of the net. Dylan Strome has another goal, and it's 6-3 Hawks. They ride out the clock and end the game with doubling up the Senators 6-3. I really wish they could do this more often, where they have a bad start. They got down 2-0, and they can actually score their way out of a hole like that. Because they did in this game. They were down 2-0, and they ended up winning the game by 3. They outscored them 6-1 for the rest of the game. That's impressive. I'll give them kudos for this game. They scored 6 goals in 2 periods. and only let up one in said time period. I mean, there's really nowhere to complain about this performance outside of the bad first period. And they've had several bad first periods this season, but this I think was the real first one where they didn't let that affect the rest of the game. And they not only outscored them for the rest of the game, they destroyed them. 2 goals from Toews and Caleb Jones, and then added goals from Hagel, or excuse me, not Hagel, Sam Lafferty and Dylan Strome. Those are the 2 other goal scorers. But yeah, again, we did not have production when it came to the goal scores. It wasn't DeBrincat, Kane, and just those 2. I mean, Strome got a goal, and honestly, Strome is probably the biggest name that actually scored in this game. And frankly, that is great. Strome's starting to really hit his stride, and we need that. And if he sticks around, yeah, I'm going to hope that he doesn't have a slow first half of the year again, because, man, is he putting in some really crucial goals for us. And yeah, really good win for the team after coming out of the first period down 2-0. They rally the troops. We get to see Kane and Toews connect on a few goals. We see Seth and Caleb Jones connect for a goal, and the team as a whole scores 6 to win this game. Well, the Hawks have the Bruins at home next. They get a little break for the weekend, and they play the Bruins. Then they have another little gap where they can regroup before they head out to Minnesota, and then come right back home to play the Jets on a back-to-back. Big win for the Hawks. Might be a little bit too late to get some of these big wins and to continue winning. But that's the league we're in. You don't necessarily know until the end. You keep trying until you're out. And there's really not even an incentive to tank because you might not even get the first pick. It's a lottery. So, yeah, just the team's doing their thing. The guys want to win. So they'll keep trying. But I think that's going to do it for me in this one. So if you enjoyed this reaction, please hit the like button. And if you really enjoyed it and want to see more content from me, I suggest you hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot, and I'd appreciate it. And without further ado, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.